Am I worried about Dallas coming in here and spoiling this team's perfect record? Well, yeah, it's a grudge match. It's a division game. If the Eagles win, they're 2 games up on Dallas. Eagles lose, they're tied for the division lead.
Welcome back to the Pond the Hockey Post-Game Show. I'm Devin Caney, and it is time for our Diamond Debate presented by Mark's Jewelers. And guys, I know I have different bling on every week. This week it's pretty obvious. Again, on my finger. They love to make me look like I'm engaged.
Wait, I can't see you.
Oh, there we go.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like trying to catch it in the light here.
How many carats are we looking at?
I don't know. I don't really understand carats, but it is really expensive.
Well, I'll explain real quick. You got a lot of them on your finger right there.
Yes. Yeah, it is like, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on me from carrying this thing around. I'm not going to lie. So let's get to our Diamond Debate. And if you guys are tuning in, you can vote on our YouTube and also on Twitter. Are you guys worried about the Cowboys spoiling the Eagles' undefeated streak on Sunday Night Football? I'm still personally tormented from both Cowboys games last season, particularly that first primetime game that was Monday Night Football when they just absolutely embarrassed the Eagles. But we are a different team now. Feel a little bit better, but I am still worried.
I'm worried that, if this coaching staff doesn't come up with a more definitive, game plan for the Cowboys, that defense is uber aggressive. So you got to come up with ways to take advantage of their aggressiveness. But I also think that, if Dak Prescott is not back and you're going against Cooper Rush again next week on Sunday night on the biggest stage, then you better have a blitz package together to put pressure on him. Listen, Gallup is back, but, he's back off a major injury. CeeDee Lamb is dealing with a groin injury. Their tight end, Dalton Schultz, he limped off again today. So they're playing, with limited, capacities. Their offensive line really isn't all that great when you think about all that they've lost. So this is an opportunity to take advantage of another young quarterback. It's an opportunity to take advantage of another unripened quarterback and try to put pressure on him. Because if you sit back and that running game gets to going and then they get some play action going, then you're going to have problems. You're going to have problems on your hand because our defense is going to have to perform at the level of their defense because their defense is just really that darn good. Micah Parsons is a beast. DeMarcus Lawrence is a beast. They got guys that can just flat out fly, and they're about 8-9 deep on the defensive line.
I think Dallas is one of the quickest defensive fronts off the snap in the National Football League, if not the quickest defensive front off the I would be shocked if Jonathan Gannon plays a passive scheme the way he played against Kyler Murray today. It's like Seth said, Cooper Rush doesn't turn the football over, but there's a reason he's a backup in the National Football League. And what's the best way to rattle a quarterback? Get in his face time and time again. Put heat on him the way Arizona's defense put heat on Jalen Hurts today. And I think that's what he's going to do, as he did against Trevor Lawrence, as he did against Kirk Cousins. If he doesn't, I would be flat out shocked. Am I worried about Dallas coming in here and spoiling this team's perfect record? Well, yeah, it's a grudge match. It's a division game. If the Eagles win, they're 2 games up on Dallas. Eagles lose, they're tied for the division lead. Both sides know the magnitude of this game. My biggest concern is, what did Arizona know about this Eagles offense that stymied this Eagles offense? It wasn't until the Eagles started running the football in the fourth quarter to control the clock that was the biggest difference in the game. Them controlling the football 9 minutes more than Arizona did. Because if it hadn't been a lot of 3-and-outs for this Eagles team or a lot of 2- or 3-minute drives, we might be sitting here talking about this Eagles' first loss of the season.
Well, I will submit to you what they knew was the Eagles wanted to come out and they thought that they couldn't run the ball, so they didn't try in the first half of that game. They came out and decided to throw it. So normally what you want to do as a defense, you want to make your opponent one-dimensional, because once you make them one-dimensional, they know that they can't run it, You know that they can't run it. So now you got them in a predictable situation. The problem is the Eagles made themselves one-dimensional in the first half. And by doing that, they tipped their hand to the Cardinals, and the Cardinals came out and was, okay, you're going to pass every down. We'll just come after you. We're going to come after your quarterback with no regard for the fact that you might run the ball. It wasn't until they actually committed to the running game in the third quarter, towards the end of the third quarter, that things began to change for the offense. But by then, you know, the Cardinals offense was already doing their thing, and Jonathan Gannon was already in passive mode, and, you know, it was game on.
Yeah, but Arizona's a good run defense. Jacksonville was the best run defense. Right. Why didn't you come at Arizona a lot earlier in the game than you did? It's like we said, they didn't really go to the run until the third and fourth quarter. That was a big difference.
J.J. Watt led the team with 2 sacks coming into this game.
Exactly. Okay? They had 4 in the season.
The Allen kid, you know, only had 1 or 2 coming into this game.
1, yeah.
So the thought is, okay, if they can't rush, if they can't get out after the passer, you know, what they really want to be is they really want to throw the ball. You know, every offense in the NFL wants to throw the football, okay? They look at the running game as something secondary that we have to do in order to keep defenses honest, you know. But this team got to the playoffs last year by doing what? Running the football. And I get you trying to evaluate, you know, Jalen Hurts, and you're trying to, you know, validate the fact that you gave up one of your first rounders and spent $100 million on this wide receiver, and you extended your tight end, and you got a good line, so you want to throw the ball. But there's nothing wrong with running the football that allows your entire playbook to be open. Right. So now when you throw it, you can have the success down the field. Well, I'm looking at. Go ahead, because I don't want to go off on a whole nother tangent.
It plays into what you're saying, and please go on a tangent once I ask this question. You know, looking at this talented Dallas defense, what kind of offense do you think the Eagles have to run to succeed against that defense? Because I'm scared of Dallas' defense.
Listen, they better come out and they better try to establish a run game early, okay? They decimated the defending Super Bowl champions today, okay? Matthew Stafford threw the ball 42 times today for 308 yards, okay? 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked 5 times, and I mean battered and beaten. You want to know how many times they ran the ball today? A total of 15 times. 15 times. And 13 of them were by the running back. The other 2 were by, you know, wide receiver sweeps, okay? For 2.5 yards average. You're not going to beat an elite team like that. I mean, even if you can't run the ball the way you really want to, you still have to put it in the defense's mind that we're going to try to run the football. I mean, if you don't, like I said, you make yourself one-dimensional. Now, you know, we can dial up whatever blitzes we want to dial up, and I'm telling my big dogs, hey, man, pin your ears back. You know, I got your back if they decide to hand it off. I'll take care of the draw. I'll take care of the quarterback draw. You pin your ears back and go get the quarterback and play the run on the way to the pass.
I think anybody that looks at the Dallas Cowboys defense and says to themselves, I'm not worried at all, I'm not scared at all, we're going to be fine against them, I guarantee you that's exactly what the LA Rams were saying before this game. We're not scared of Cooper Rush. We're not scared of that defense. We can get after him with Aaron Donald. We can get after their defense with our quick passing and our reigning Super Bowl champion in Matthew Stafford. And it didn't work out that way at all. You're just not being real with yourself if you don't acknowledge the fact that at least this Dallas defense is pretty damn good. And yes, Cooper Rush, backup quarterback certainly, but he is doing things to help you win games and doing things that backup quarterbacks should always be doing, which is always the thing that's not going to lose the game for you. And that's how he has played so well to this point. And for as bad as the NFC East was supposed to be, I mean, you're looking at a bunch of 4-1 teams in the Giants, and also you're looking at this team, like the Dallas Cowboys, and you're also looking at the Eagles that are undefeated. They're 1 win better than the rest of that division, with the exception, of course, of Carson Wentz and the Commanders are a little bit better than them. But anyone that's just looking at this team saying they're not at all worried, I think they have a reality check in store for them.
Well, so here's another question. Going into the Cowboys-Rams game today, I was saying Cooper Rush is fraudulent because I didn't think he was as good as his statistics showed. You know, not throwing a pick. Okay, he technically threw 2. They were just called back. There were penalties. He is a backup quarterback for a reason. But he hasn't lost as a Cowboys quarterback yet. But we keep hearing rumors about Dak Prescott potentially coming back and making his return. Who would you rather play next week? Dak or Cooper Rush?
Dak.
Me too.
Based on what I saw Dak do in that first game, which he cost Dallas that game against Tampa Bay because he missed numerous wide open receivers. I'd rather play Dak right now. You know, for whatever reason, this team seems to play better with Cooper Rush under center. And obviously the defense follows the lead of Micah Parsons. Now, we saw Micah Parsons limp off the field today and found out he was dealing with a groin injury. That man came back on the field, and Seth and I was sitting there watching him. He was shedding chip blocks, shedding left tackles, and still getting to the quarterback. I don't want to see that next week. Now, if you have Sua Opeta and Jack Driscoll on their left side, and they like to move Parsons around, what would you do if you're Dallas's defensive coordinator? What are you going to do?
I'm telling you what is going to happen. If Sua Opeta and Jack Driscoll have to play on the left side, if Jordan Mailata is not up for next week's game, okay, and for some reason or another, Landon Dickerson can't go, and you've got that combination, you're going to get both DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons over on that left side the majority of the game. And they're going to be running all kind of stunts and games over there, and I'm telling you right now what you're going to see. I'm telling you what you're going to see. Well, now to answer your question, though, I'd rather see Cooper Rush. Okay, I really would, because I think you can be more aggressive against Cooper Rush, and it's a much more predictive game plan. You know, when Cooper Rush is in the game. Listen, he only threw the ball 16 times today. You want to know why? Because they ran it 34 times for 163 yards for 4.8 yards a carry. Okay, so when Dak is playing, they're more apt to put the ball in the air. They want to throw the ball with Dak because they believe that they have an advantage with him at quarterback in doing so. And now that they got Gallup back, absolutely, they want to air it out. But they know that they have to play a different style with Cooper Rush, that they have to run the ball. The play-action pass has to be a part of what they do in order for him to have success.
I would agree with you normally, 99 times out of 100, Seth. The only reason I agree with Gunner is the fact that I don't think.
To mean?
No, the only reason I agree with Gunner is for this. It's something you didn't mention. I believe Dak Prescott is going to come back and play in this game with a bum thumb. I'll face any Hall of Famer ever as long as they can't grip the football. If Dak Prescott can't grip the football,
and you hope it's cold,
and frigid.
Yeah.
And
the problem is, if he comes back, you can darn well believe he's gonna be able to grip the football.
Well, this team is 4-0 without him. If you're rushing him back right now, that tells me maybe it's a little premature of him coming back.
I guarantee you, maybe they're not rushing him back. Maybe he's a little healthy.
I feel like Dak is rushing himself back.
Well, that's my point. You're talking about as
Jerry
of Tuesday.
Jones is trying to rush himself.
Well, Tuesday Jerry Jones said that he couldn't grip the football.
Okay.
So he was asked point blank about him coming back.
If he can't grip the football, then he's not going to play. If you see him step on the field, trust me, he can grip it and he can spin it the way he's been spinning.
Do you honestly believe anything Jerry Jones says?
No.
Okay.
No.
I don't believe
I don't believe any of his faces
out of his mouth
when he lies. I don't believe any of it. Not a word.
Okay, so we have Cowboys next Sunday night, but the Eagles have also yet to face the Giants, who beat the Packers today. Who scares you more, Giants or Cowboys?
Oh, I would say Cowboys.
Yeah.
I would say Cowboys because of the swiftness of that defense. They do have a better collection of receivers. You know, we talk about CeeDee Lamb and we talk about Michael Gallup finally coming back, but they have another young receiver in this kid, Noah Brown, who's the favorite target of Cooper Rush because they spend so much time together playing backup in practices and stuff. And because Cooper's in there, Noah's starting to shine. Tony Pollard is going to make a lot of people forget about a guy named Ezekiel Elliott. He busted a long one today for a touchdown as well. I look at the Giants. The Giants did three things very well before this year. They hired the right head coach in Daboll. They hired the right defensive coordinator finally in Wink Martindale, and they restructured their entire front office, and they're going in the right direction. Everybody kept saying the Giants are trash. That was a big win. Now, maybe Green Bay's overrated, but that was a big win for them to come back the way they did. They were down 17-3 at one point, came back and beat the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. That's a statement game for them. When you keep building momentum like that, especially when you've already equaled your win total from a season ago in 5 weeks, guys are looking around and saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we're not as bad as we thought we were, and the Giants are not 100% healthy yet.
Yeah, no, I feel like their win over the Packers today solidified them. It gave them that boost of confidence, and that scares me.
I'm going to give you the next goal as far as
The next what?
I said I'm gonna give you the next go at that question.
The next go at that
Well,
question?
we are going to come back to that after the break.
Oh.
We do have to break. That was our Diamond Debate presented by Mark's Jewelers. Again, my sparkly diamond ring you can pick up yourself from Mark's Jewelers. Stick around because the D'Ambrosio Drive of the Game is coming up on the Pond the Hockey postgame show.